Okay.
And she's written 2 books, both on, the first one's called Fearful to Fabulous, targeting or serving the divorced, the newly divorced, finding her new way, going from fearful to fabulous. And
Right.
the new one is about dating,
Yep.
which is Too Scared to Love Again, for
Yeah.
those
Good.
after
Too
the
scared to love again, and what's it called? Sidestep the red flags, delight in dating, and find the love you deserve.
Very nice. And today she's going to share with us the imposter syndrome solution. Is that right?
Yep.
Welcome to the stage with a welcome Fiona, please. Welcome Fiona Eckersley.
Hi, I'm Fiona Eckersley, and I'm a complete imposter. I mean, that's what I used to think that I should say every time I stepped up to announce myself, telling people what I do and how I help other people. And I'm up here giving a speech to a bunch of people who are surely better educated than me, probably wrote as many books as me, but with more statistics and science in them, and will at any moment get up and walk out because they can see right through me. So have any of these thoughts ever gone through your head as you're just about to speak, or present yourself at a networking event, or even talk to clients? If they have, you're not alone, because according to the Journal of Behavioral Science, an estimated 70% of the population has suffered from this at one time or another. Maybe you felt that you're a complete fraud and that everyone was going to find out that you didn't deserve your accomplishments. That maybe you have somehow got to this amazing place where you find yourself, where you're giving advice to other people and it's a complete fluke. Perhaps you've wrestled with feeling like you don't belong. Or maybe you're comparing yourself to your peers and see that you don't have the same street cred or academic credentials. That's the problem that we're going to look at today. How to overcome those feelings in order to move yourself positively forward in life, especially business life, to make a difference in the lives of others, and then find the financial rewards that you deserve right now. Now, I've suffered from imposter syndrome throughout many phases of my life, and I can say quite clearly that it held me back a lot. The first time I remember it strongly affecting me was when I moved to New York to work in a very prestigious girls' school as a teacher. You know, they thought I was a wonderful candidate. However, when I looked around, all the other teachers had master's degrees from well-named colleges. They had nice, well-to-do families of their own, and they knew exactly how to schmooze with the parents. I, on the other hand, had a 3-year education degree, no idea how to conduct myself in this group of people. I was from a depressed area in the north of England. You know, we get our electricity cut off or the TV repossessed. It really depended on how much my dad had spent on whiskey that month. I was really floundering because I didn't believe that I had the right to be there. The thing was, I was a really good teacher and I cared deeply about my children. And for years, I was just miserable at work. I almost left on several occasions. I almost actually got fired because of a run-in with a parent who disagreed with me on something, and I just wasn't able to stand up for myself and my opinions. I even almost ended my relationship because I thought that I was not measuring up to this new life. It took a wonderful supervisor who kept telling me how fabulous a job I was doing and pointing out that my kids were actually thriving with me as a teacher to help me understand that I had every right to be there. But all the same, I had opportunities to advance in that school, and I never once thought to even try for them. Now, fast forward 20 years to my current life. Divorced single mother of 4, ex-teacher turned confidence coach, advising other people on their life and how to better it. Some of the things I've said to myself. My client needs help with a teenage addict. I have a child who's an addict. What makes me think I'm doing such a great job there? His life is not really all together yet, and I'm still stressed out whenever I see his name pop up on my phone. Women clients struggling with anger after divorce. My ex-husband still drives me nuts sometimes because of his persistent negative behavior towards me and the kids, even after 10 years. Clients who are worried about stress and anxiety causing them to lose focus at work. Been there. Clients who may be using food and alcohol a little too much to cope. Yes, I've done that. Women who want to find the love of their life, but their issues from past relationships are blocking them. I'm currently single. Clients who need help with their imposter syndrome to clearly send out their message and have the confidence to charge what they're worth. We'll see all of the above for my issues there. I can't count how many times I've introduced myself to people and talked about what I do, and the immediate question that comes back is, oh, so you have a degree in psychology? No. Oh, so you're a social worker of some kind? No. So what qualifies you for what you do? Now there it is, the essential, you're a total fraud, gotcha statement. Now over time, I have learned not to curl up and slink away after being asked that. Because now I know that I've completely changed the lives of others for the better. Now I know that I don't need to compare myself to others. Now I know that if I don't step up, other people don't get to change their lives because I've been able to make a difference. So I have one simple answer when they ask me that. And I say, my life qualifies me for that. Let me tell you about Elaine. I worked with her last year. She had zero confidence in herself, but by the time we were finished, it was through the roof. She didn't believe that she should have come so far in her career. And when a huge promotion was floated for her, she was so close to quitting entirely. Elaine was a woman engineer, something she was painfully aware of every single day. And to add insult to injury, in her mind at least, right? She was the head of a division, and all those people underneath her, they were all men. Some of whom clearly thought to themselves that they were better suited for the job than she was. Now, when we first spoke, I asked her what her main concern was, and she said to me, I'm not doing a decent job as it is, and now they want me to take a promotion. I know I won't be able to cope, and they're really going to see what I'm doing wrong, and I bet I get fired. But if I turn it down, how's that going to look? They'll probably fire me anyway. So when I pointed out to her that they offered her a promotion, so she must be doing all right, she shrugged it off. And she said that they really didn't know how bad she was. Now, logically, I knew that this couldn't be the case. So Elaine was up and online in a meeting in her pajamas every day at 6 a.m. And then she had to rush in the shower, brush her teeth, put her makeup on, get dressed, and rush to work to get to the 8 o'clock meeting with her team. She told me that she had so much to do every day that she didn't take a break, and she got home at 8 p.m. every night, completely exhausted, fell into bed, and was on the track to get up at 6 o'clock the next morning. Because she felt that if she wasn't seen to be working hard enough, everyone's going to see right through her. She also shared that a couple of the men working in her team under her would regularly not do tasks she had assigned them, or outright say no when she asked them to do something. So what did Elaine do? She completed them herself because she didn't feel that she had the authority to make them do what was actually their job. Now, by the way, Elaine had a couple of engineering degrees, and she'd been working her way up this ladder of this multinational company for 20 years. As you can imagine, Elaine was suffering under all this stress. She had no outside work life. Her eating habits were terrible. She had no time for exercise, and sleep was just basically not happening. She needed to understand the amazing woman she was and how absolutely capable she was of doing her job. And she needed to take that next step in her career, not just for the sake of the job, but really for her overall health and well-being. So that's what we did together. We got her in a place where she could do that. By the end of our second week, Elaine was addressing the problems with the men under her. It turns out actually that they were suffering from their own form of imposter syndrome. And once she'd cleared that up with them, she was then able to show herself how able she was to step up as a leader to help others. And she began to see herself in a different light. In fact, she started putting little sticky notes on her door. It was my suggestion, but super boss lady. I just told her to put boss lady, but she said, no, I'm a super boss lady. So she put a sticky note on her door, and she saw that every day before she left her house. Because from that jumping off point, we investigated where all of these ideas about herself had started and why they were not the truth of who she really is. The bottom line, she began to work less and feel confident enough to delegate and know that it would be done because she was a good leader. everything started to feel better for her in her life. She even had time to socialize. So of course she went on the training course, she sailed through it, she got the promotion, and was now even the head of a bigger department. And accepting that she was worth the largest salary that came with it was a huge breakthrough for Elaine. Now we're still in touch, actually. She talks to me through emails and Facebook, and she just told me that she started to give speeches now, and she started to share the strategies that I taught her how to help others. I talk to fellow coaches struggling with the fallout from their imposter syndrome every day. Now, they might not call it that, but it is what's happening. No matter how apparently successful they seem to others, that feeling of being that great person who can help everybody, it's not reflected in the mirror when they look at themselves. My friend Irina is a doctor. Now, she started out in Russia. She's Russian. She got her MD there. I don't know what they call it there, but she got it there. She came to this country. She had to qualify all over again. And she's an expert in hormones. And she was working in a hospital, and she would tell me how much she hated it. And she decided she wanted to be a coach. She wanted to work with women to help them, as she put it, get their sexy back, right? So this was great, right? But what happened was, the more I talked to her, the more I found out she was terrified to put herself out on social media. I go like, oh, I'll help you do a Facebook Live. And she's like, no, people will think my accent's funny. No, my hair's a mess. You know, I don't know if they're going to think what I'm saying is a good idea. She said, there are people doing what I do. Maybe they know more than me. And I offered to help her. I said, you know, Irina, that's kind of what I do. And she said, yes, I know, Fiona, and I'd love to work with you. But honestly, I don't want to spend any money. So fast forward to last week. We had a virtual coffee, and I asked her how things were going. And she said, well, I'm back working at the hospital. And I said, what's the deal? She goes, yeah, I'm there like 8 hours a day. I really hate it. It's miserable. But she didn't have the money to pay the rent. So she lost her office space. And so she's given up on being a coach. Now, if this sounds familiar and you know how it feels, there's almost a feeling of paralysis, right? This constantly creating content that you can't share because it's not perfect yet. Not putting ourselves out there on social media because, you know, what would people think? Or my hair's a mess. Using the idea that technology is too hard, so you just don't do something. Making the excuse, you know, you're too old, you're not put together enough yet, your life is messy. Telling ourselves that we need to charge lower fees because no one's going to pay us for what we do. These are all ways to distract and keep you inside and fearful and hidden from view. I've met so many people who've totally given up on their passion and their desire to make a difference, and they don't help people because they've allowed the imposter syndrome to get in the way of reaching those people who need their help the most. The stress and anxiety that they experience from this could have been totally eliminated by simply allowing themselves to reach out for help. So for those of you that would rather not go through the next several years spinning in confusion, wondering if you're good enough, and having no clue about how you're going to go forward, not making enough money to pay bills, and finally giving up on your dream, but would instead prefer to find their confidence and feel in control starting now, I have an idea how to help you get there. Let's get on the phone together and look at your biggest challenge right now. Let's figure out what's holding you back and plan how we can move you positively forward. So if you're on your computer, you can put it straight in the browser or get out your phone, go to the internet, and I want you to type in callfabfiona.as.me. That's callfabfiona.as.me. Because although I started out by telling you that I'm an imposter, I actually know that that's not really the case. I know that I can make a difference with people. And here's something else that I know. I know that you can too. I know that you're totally capable, and I'm holding that space for you. Thank you.
Wow.